Let's bring your ebook to life using some simple yet powerful templates inside of Canva. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to our online course playbook that walks you through a simple strategy to actually start selling your ebook. Now, Canva is awesome because it has all of these ebook templates, although I find that most of these covers seem to be really good for fiction books as opposed to nonfiction or educational. And so I actually like going and looking up searches for magazine or business plan proposal or just some sort of business report or template. However, before we get too carried away creating your new ebook, there are some limitations you should be aware of, especially if you're planning on creating your ebook and selling it on the Kindle marketplace. This is not the tool to use for Kindle, but if you're selling it on your own website or some other software or service where you're going to be exporting it as a PDF, then this is the perfect tool to use. So let's go ahead, dive into my screen here. You can see I've done a couple of searches. So I'll just go ahead and search business plan. And you can see here, just as you saw in the beginning, there are a lot of different templates to choose from. But for example purposes, I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch using the A4 document format. So I'll go ahead and create a blank template. And once it loads, the first thing I like to do is to just scroll through all of the template results. Even though these aren't directly related to ebooks, sometimes I come up with some other ideas for the layouts of some of the content pages or wind up creating some sort of resource or checklist, right? So of course you can scroll through these, and for time purposes up here, I'm just going to go ahead and search business plans. You can see I was preparing for the video, so I've already done the search. So these definitely are not going to win any design awards by any means, but they're really easy to use, and you can just go through, find one that you like. Even if it says pro, don't worry about that. You can easily change the template if you are on the free version. And of course, you can just pretty much scroll endlessly here. They have hundreds of them. I'm just scrolling down to the one I know I want to use, so we'll try that one. And then let's say we want to try one more. We'll go ahead and click on Add Page, and then click to add. So you can add as many as you want. What I like to do, of course, is just add all the ones that I think might work and then just play around with them until you find one that you like. So let's go ahead and start modifying our template. So the first thing we want to do is, of course, change our colors. So I'll go ahead and select the element here, and I can go ahead and select color. You can see I have quite a few because I'm a little OCD, or very much so, according to my team. But you can go over to coolors.co, not related to Canva at all, but it has a lot of great tools to help you create your own color palettes. So if you aren't super design savvy like myself, then that would be really helpful in coming up with color palettes. I really like using that tool. So once we've changed our color, of course, we could change colors on anything else. Of course, we could also change the background. So I've just clicked the background, and let's say I want to make it a nice gray color there. So that would be our background, or we could put an image. So the next thing we want to do, of course, is change our typography. So this is going to be the fonts that we're using. Canva, of course, has a lot of fonts on free and paid, so you can go through. I like using two fonts, one for all my headings and then one for the body copy. After that, it starts to just come across a little messy. So I'll go ahead for our header font here. Let's go ahead and try Nexa Bold. And then here is a quick list of fonts that we like using across pretty much everything that we do and recommend to our clients because the fonts are easy to read and relatively modern. Of course, given your niche or industry, you might not want to look modern, right? So we'll first, of course, go ahead and give this a name. So I'm going to click and expand this a little bit. And let's say we're making a Facebook ads ebook. And then, of course, we need a little tagline. So we'll say the new way to dominate on Facebook. Now you see it went to 2 lines. So what we can do is we can just click and then drag over until it goes back to 1 line. And that's all we need to do. I don't really think we need prepared by here. So I'll go ahead and remove that. And then I will change these two. So the way you select more than one element, you can click the first one and then hold Shift, select the second. So we'll go to font and we'll just go ahead and change the color there. And I'll leave it at, what is this, Montserrat. All right, well, that looks good enough. So we'll go ahead and change this to Jason. And our company website, although that seems really hard to read and that does not look good on the blue. So let's go ahead and change that to black. And then it's extra light, so let's make it bold. That doesn't look good. All right, we'll go there. So as you can see, there's a lot of playing around that you can do here to make sure it looks good. So the next step, of course, is making this turning this template into a free version. So when you're looking at all of these templates over here, the reason that they're pro is because of the images or icons that are being used. So if we just switch it out for a free one, then all of a sudden we can use the template. So I'll come over here to Elements, and then I will go to, not stickers, Photos, and then I'm just going to go ahead and search Facebook ads. Go ahead and search, and then of course we have a bunch of images that we can use. You do need to double check the fine print of Canva's licensing because it's not always clear whether or not you can use all of the photos for commercial capacity, especially if you're on the free plan. But here what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go to Price, Free, and then when we apply that filter, we now know that all of the pictures that we're looking at can be used on the free plan. So all we need to do is click and drag over, and Canva will automatically swap out the photo. And now we can download this without having to pay because we've switched it to a free image. Now, the way this works is if I double click, you can see that I can expand it out, bring it over, because this template has already created a crop for us. So we could leave it like this. Of course, we could go and bring in some other ones as well. And as you can see, it's pretty quick to create a decent looking cover. So I like this one with the cat, so we'll go ahead and not expand that, but we'll expand this a little bit, click and drag over. We'll go and click on done. And there we go. There's our Facebook ads ebook cover. And we'll go ahead and click on done. And of course, you could do the same thing with other templates. And if we wanted to click and drag, let's say, this Facebook over, we could just do that, although that looks really dated. So maybe we'll go back and use this image, right? And then we could just go ahead, start selecting the elements on the page and changing them to our blue color. And maybe we want to do an accent here, and this will be an accent gray or something like that. So you can see once you start just playing with the colors and the images, it's relatively easy to start making your covers, or hopefully it feels easy. If it still looks complicated, that means I've totally failed you. So comment below and let me know. So now that we have our covers down, it's time to come up with our page layout. So this is going to be where you create a template for all of your actual content pages. So to start, we're going to, of course, probably want some sort of place for a page number, the name of our ebook, and of course, our author name or logo or website, or maybe all three. So to do that, we'll come over here to Elements. I'll go ahead and exit out of Photos here, and I'll jump over to Lines and Shapes. I'll come down to Shapes, grab the square, and of course, I want this to be blue. And then of course you can always change up the design, and this is a B-roll of some of the other previous ones we've created in the past. And so you can see here there's a lot of different ways that you can go about creating this page frame. So jumping back to our current design here, I'll go ahead and put this up top, and then I'll drop in another shape here, and I want a bar at the bottom. So I'll go ahead and just click and drag. You can see these nice purple lines. Finally, Canva is helping us with the alignment of things. So I'll go ahead and set that there. And then I'll go ahead and make this light gray or light blue gray. So next, we probably want to drop in our logo. So you can, of course, always upload images here and use them. So I've already uploaded our logo. So I'll go ahead and drop that in, and I'll make it nice and small. Click and drag it all the way down to the center, so I can do something like that. And then maybe we want to have our name or the domain of whatever site we want people to go to. So we can come over here to text. You can see here there are a lot of different types of stylized text that you can use. But for ebooks, generally we want things to be really easy to read. So we'll go ahead and click on Add a Subheading here, type in our website URL, and of course, I'm going to change this to what font? I think we said Montserrat for the body. Always go back and check, right? And so we could go ahead and try and put it on the bottom like this, and then have the logo come up here, although that probably takes up a little too much space, but we'll just go ahead and leave it like that. So we'll go ahead, and also you can hyperlink this, right? So all we need to do is select all the text here. So I've selected the text. I can come into the three little dots, and I can click on the link icon here, and then I can drop in the actual URL. Now, what's also cool is you can drop in pages in this document now, but we'll get to that when we talk about the table of contents. So I'll go ahead and add that link there. And so now when we export this as a PDF, people can physically click this link and go over to our site. So let's go ahead, add a heading here, and then I'm going to change the font color to dark gray. I'll make it bold and probably bring it down a little bit here. So I'll go ahead and click and drag, and I'll put this up top. And then this makes our frame, right? So we have a really simple, elegant looking way of displaying all of our information. And if we wanted to be fancy, we could go ahead and put in page numbers here at the top. So I'll go ahead and make this white and bold, and then I'll click and drag it all the way up here. And now we have our page numbers. Now, does Canva automatically do page numbers for us? Unfortunately not. So this is going to be a manual process. So definitely don't go doing your page numbers until the very, very end and when you're setting up your table of contents. But here, once we have our frame, all we need to do is click this duplicate icon, and now we can start making our pages and actually dropping in some content and images. Now, if you already have written your entire ebook, hold on, because you might actually want to do something before all of these steps. But for now, let's just go ahead and drop in some images here and then tackle the hard part, which is the text. So hopefully you don't have to do too much copying and pasting with the text. So what we can do is come down to something called frames. So I'll click on frames here, and these are pre-configured frames for photos. That was a really silly way of saying that. So as an example, if we choose, let's say this one. So we want to put this one in the top right here, right? And then let's say we come back here and we look for photos and we want to say data, right? Big. So we want to look for something that photos related to big data. And of course, we're going to come down here and say free only, apply. And of course, a burger, I guess that is big. Wow, some things do not make sense at all. So we'll just go ahead and grab this generic looking one. And so we can drop it in, and then we can click, we can make it a little bigger. We can bring it over to, okay, we have to make it a lot bigger. And that did not work out too well. But what's cool about this is then you can just drop in any image you want. And if you want to have the images in the same place on each page, so I can copy this, I can come down here and when I click paste, so that was Control C, Control V, or Command VC if you're on a Mac, then you can go ahead and paste it in the same place on each page. And then maybe this next page, we don't want it to be that image, we want it to be this one. And of course it could drop in there. This is a really terrible example because none of these photos are looking very good in this frame. But that's an easy way to keep all of your pictures or elements in the same place and style and format. And of course, you also have lots of icons as well that you could drop in to your design. And then when it comes to text, we'll go over to the text. We'll click on add a subheading here. And I think 18 or 20 is good enough for an ebook. So I'm going to go ahead and do 20. And then all you need to do is click and drag the text over to where you want it. So if we want it to be here. And then let's say we have a lot of text, we can click and drag it over here. And then that way, as we hit enter, it of course formats around the image. Then I'll go ahead and create another text box. So a cool hotkey here is if you're selecting an element that you want to make a copy of, you can just hold Command or Control and then hit D and it will duplicate it for you. So Control or Command D for duplicate. And I've clicked and dragged it over. Then we can make this go almost all the way. And now we can have the rest of the page have text all the way to the bottom. So that's how you go ahead and format your text boxes around your images. So if you already have your text written and you only have a couple of pages, this is definitely the way to go. Like let's say less than 20 pages of text, this is probably the fastest way to do it. However, if you have a really long ebook, then you might want to manually upload all of your text as a PDF instead of copying and pasting. Because right now, what we'd have to do is we'd have to copy and paste all of our text into these text boxes that we create. So I'd go ahead and copy these and then paste them so I have text boxes on each page. But there is another way. So I'll jump over to an example Google Doc here. So let's say this is an ebook. This is actually two slapped together. but this is something inside of a Google Doc. It has all of our text. It even has a couple of pictures, and we can export and import this directly to Canva. So to do that, I'm going to click the drop down here. I'll go File and Download, and you need to download it as a PDF document. So if you have a lot of text, this might be the way to go instead of manually copying and pasting. So we'll go ahead and export it as a PDF. And of course, it'll go to my downloads folder. And then what I can do is come back over to Canva, the home screen, and I can click this upload icon, and I can either click and drag, or I can upload the PDF that we just created. So I went ahead and clicked browse, and then I uploaded it. And if we click, we can see here, this is the PDF that has now been formatted inside of Canva. So if we scroll through here, we can see, let's make it a little bigger. We can see that it's brought in the text. You'll see the bullet points are a little off, but we can come in here, click, and easily fix that. And maybe we need to add some spaces as well. So this definitely is not perfect. So I'm just showing you this because it is possible to get your text dropped in here without having to manually copy and paste everything. But just as a note, if you have any tables, you're going to have to recreate them inside of Canva, as you can see, because all of our tables were brought in as images. And of course, the plain text works the best. So if you just make a plain text document and upload it as a PDF, you'll save yourself a lot of time and headache, which is the other way that most of us do it, which is copy and then jump over here and hit paste, right? So that can be a little tedious. And so either way, that's how you quickly go ahead and create your covers and of course create a frame for all of your content and either copy paste your text or import it into Canva. Now, let's say you've done all of that hard work, you've spent hours upon hours formatting everything, copying and pasting, importing, exporting, and you're ready to create your table of contents. So what we can do is we can come up to, let's say, page 2 here. So I'll go ahead and templates, and I'll see if they have a table of contents. And you can see we have a couple of really basic ones. So for time purposes, because I just looked at the recording time and I've been talking way too long, you're probably like, yeah, okay, thank you, Jason. Let's get to building, right? So what we can do is, let's say come down here, and this is chapter 1, right? So this is chapter 1, and let's say this is chapter 3. So what I'm doing is I'm naming these pages. So I can come back up here now, and let's say I want to link to chapter 1. So I've selected all of these, and then I will right click and I will select group so that they are grouped together. You'll see that now I click and drag. Now the reason we want to do this is now what we can do is we can select it. So we have everything for number 1, come up to the link icon again, and then this time we can come down and say chapter 1 and done. So now when we export it as a PDF, someone can click 1 and it will jump them down to this page. Pretty cool, right? And of course, you could go ahead and you could be more detailed with your table of contents, but just I think for ease of use and time purposes, just having a table of contents listing out your major sections or chapters will probably be more than enough. Of course, if you've done it in a Word doc already and you already had a table of contents there, then you could go ahead and go through the process of hyperlinking as well. But I would definitely recommend going ahead and grouping all of these things together so that when someone clicks anything here, so we'll go ahead and group again, and let's say this is going to link us to chapter 3. So we can come down here, chapter 3, and we'll go ahead and click on done. So that does it for creating your table of contents, of course, linking to other things. Now, how on earth do you share this thing and actually get paid for selling your ebook? Well, for the actual selling part, link in the description to our online course launch playbook that actually goes through how to sell digital products as well. And so what we can do here is we can come up to share, we'll click on download, and we'll change our file type to PDF standard. So this is for emailing. So you pretty much need your file size to be under 25 megabytes. And if we were to export it for print, this design right now would probably be anywhere from 30 to 50 megabytes, which is way too much to attach to an email. So of course we can go ahead PDF standard, and then we could go ahead and download. We don't need to flatten, and then we'd have our PDF that's ready to be shared via email, or you could upload it to Google Drive and create a public share link and give that link to whoever actually purchases your product or service. That's actually what we do for pretty much all of our digital products. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. You're much more confident when it comes to creating your ebook inside of Canva. Comment below with anything I missed or any of your questions. I still read and reply to every single one, just a little slow at times. And until the next, keep building the business you love.